So, welcome, Phlarpers. This is the Phlarp Podcast. I'm Jason Smith, or North.
And I am Brandon Frazier or Davine Alwyn.
And I am Chris, or Eric the Red.
And then today we have a special guest at the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be me. I'm Cody Ross, or Heston works. It's my character name.
Okay, and so we had I just want to preface this a little bit by saying we did have some pre-recorded stuff that we did have some other podcasts, but we're going to kind of save them for the back burner. And then also there was some developmental stuff in there that people may not be interested in. So in the interest of bringing you guys the best content, we went ahead and tried to just move forward and leave them. What was that?
I don't know, but you just should keep going.
Did everybody hear that?
Yeah.
Weird. Anyway, that moving forward, we're just gonna make this the first one that way because we've already got all the kinks hammered out for the most part on how we're gonna do it. So I'm just gonna read the few things that we know for sure that we're doing as topics today, and we may meander around a bit, but we're gonna do a recap for the weekend. We're gonna read through the suggestion box, and then I'm wanting to talk about some first level abilities. I think it would be good to. Well, I'll just save that for the actual topic, and then possibly looking over some of the rules. At some point, I'd like to go through all the rules on the podcast, but I don't know whether we'll get that far or not. And then also, I'd like to talk about the geography of the actual world map that we have now, especially since how we have a player here, because I think it'd be interesting to hear from a player about how that works. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about rumors, which I did discuss today at the game, which is just a sort of announcement that I make in character. And I think that's it. Other than, I would also like to go through what a normal day at Phlarp would be, just so that somebody who hasn't been to Phlarp or whatever has an idea of what we actually do. Like if they had no idea what Phlarp was, it'd be good to go over what we do on a game day as a general format.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
And that's the topics I had. Did you have anything specific you wanted to talk about?
There was some small specific things that I wanted to talk about. We want to talk about handguards on swords. If they're okay, if they're not okay, what the deal with that is, and then, work through that. Also, there was a couple things that happened today that I'd like to talk about, but nothing serious. Just some things that I think need addressed. People have been leaving Phlarp, to go to the store or whatever, and basically not signing out. I think that if you're going to leave, even if it's for 15 minutes, that you probably should sign out, because sometimes those people don't come back. They have intentions to come back, they just don't. And then the last thing was, which again was addressed today, but I do think it should be addressed on the podcast, about using other people's things. So,
okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
And Chris, did you have anything specific today?
I do.
As a bullet points.
I do, but I think I will talk about that in a little bit. Is that better?
Yeah, it went away.
It kind of felt like
we had an effect on accident and still left on Chris.
I do apologize.
And Heston, did you have anything specific you want to talk about, or are you just here to provide commentary?
I guess I'll just provide commentary.
All right,
cool.
Sounds good. Just jump in whenever you want to, especially considering you're the player's perspective here.
Yeah.
So if you have to cut us off or whatever, feel free to do that.
Yeah, sure.
Especially Brandon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Don't worry, I'm prepared.
Yeah, you will be.
Okay, so I guess we'll start with a recap of how the weekend went. I thought it went pretty good. We got how many new people did we
we
do
initiated
the patrol on?
3 new people, and then there was another one that showed up after the patrol, so we had 4 new people this week, at least 4 new people.
We just didn't get that last one into
Right,
the patrol.
and we'll probably do that next week if they show back up. So
We got a pretty good group today, I think.
maybe we had at least 20 players
Yeah.
today. I mean, to me, that's good numbers, especially what are we at the late October? So
I mean, 20 players in October is fantastic.
yeah. I mean, eventually, of course, we want it to be more than that. I would like to get to the point where we have 70, 80 players out there. That'd be fantastic. But,
Oh, yeah.
but I mean, we haven't been open that long.
Right.
20 players, I think, is a good number for
That's
what
a very
we're doing.
good number.
I agree.
So
And the even better thing is a lot of people think that LARPing is mainly for, is a male dominate. And
we had a lot of females out there today.
We had a lot of females.
Yeah.
We actually have one here today, but she's going to be a
kind of
mute.
listening in.
She's going to be a mute. She's just, here for the ride.
She's here in presence.
And I think that not only us as a group, we are getting more females, but I think this podcast might actually hit, the female because I mean, it's more of a Gen Z kind of thing. So I think it's working. And I apologize, people. Like, my voice has been cracking. Kind of haven't been feeling the best the last week. So I
Yeah, me
apologize.
neither.
Just make sure you stay over there on that side of the table. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm still getting over that Ren Festival.
Oh
Ren
yeah.
Fair.
I think almost everybody that went up to Ren Fair last week, I think we all like.
And this is in St. Louis.
Yes, it was in Wentzville, and I think that everybody that went up there contracted some form of
Something.
cough and. do it. But no, it's just I
Yeah.
have a little cough and upper respiratory.
I've mostly just been achy, man.
I guess the admission was a little bit more expensive than you had initially
Yeah.
thought.
Well, I guess really
I
what
got
he's
it for
saying,
free.
what he's saying is he's basically a pony because he's a little horse.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, you like that?
You
Yeah,
saw.
that's hilarious.
I think so.
Did you just think that up on the spot, or had
No, I'd heard it before.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I could sit here and try to sound like
Then
a
I
genius.
won't. I won't give you credit for it.
Well, I'd still appreciate it.
Sorry,
Good
no
usage.
XP. 0 XP for you, bro.
Your originality is, you get lower score for non-original.
It'd be what it be.
But at least you're honest. You could have just owned it. And you could have just said,
Yeah, but then
dude,
I would have
just
been a
thought that right
liar.
up."
You know, I don't want to be a liar. So
But yeah, we had a pretty good run. What did we play today? We played some
Oh, yeah.
stuff we haven't played in a while.
yeah,
haven't
that's
we?
true. I mean, we did the patrol. We had Last Man Standing. We had the costume contest, which, by the
yeah,
way,
that was
Squishy won. You know,
I
I
kind of
think.
expected that.
Yeah, first, it was a really cool costume.
She had a cool
Yeah.
costume.
She
yeah.
did. I know there was a lot of cool costumes, and then Lucian, formerly known as Crow, he had a cool costume too. He came in second place, and then Sir Cody. Yeah, Sir Cody. He's come a few times, like 3 times I think, and he had a really cool costume as well. He came in third place today, and of course we are doing that costume contest next week too, which does not have to be Phlarp related.
Yeah, you can have any kind of costume on basically for the costume contest next week, which I will have this released before that. So
Perfect.
it'll be next week on the. What's the date? Just so
It's the
people know, 'cause some
30th.
people have no idea. Okay,
Yeah.
it's literally on the 30th. What is Halloween? The 31st?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so Halloween, and it's 2022 for anybody that's listening in the future.
Right. And I do think there's going to be some cool costumes there. I mean, we saw one that didn't enter the costume contest today that I think will do rather well next week. So
Yeah, exactly.
That was a really cool costume. So,
I thought about entering it, but I've been getting over the Ren sickness that everyone seems to has come down with, so I didn't bother putting mine on.
I mean, fair enough. Well, there's always next week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I personally think I should have won, but
I mean, you didn't enter.
I didn't enter because
He didn't think it'd be fair to the other people.
I did
Sure.
not want to take the shine away from our players. So,
Is that what it was?
I mean, come on, I have a sun on my chest. What's up?
I mean, fair enough.
I shine bright.
I didn't enter for the same reason.
Exactly.
Right. That makes sense. Well, we all know that, popularity does play a particular role in it, which is why I didn't enter, because I would have won just based
Oh,
on
yeah.
that.
Brandon would have slayed the
So-
competition.
I mean, like,
But in all seriousness, there was a really cool costume contest today, and I'm glad
Yeah.
that the players that
Oh,
won
yes.
won.
And yeah, like you were saying, what's his name? Lucian.
Yeah.
He did have a cool costume, and also he had contacts. He was the first person to have other colored contacts besides me.
It was really
so
cool. I
those are
think,
neat.
I mean, obviously, if Squishy's not there, he wins. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
I
a
think
cool
so,
costume
too.
contest. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
And he is
So-
fully in costume too.
Oh, yeah.
His
Yeah.
costume's
He
pretty
looks great.
badass. Or
Yeah.
not Crow. Lucian.
Lucian,
Yeah,
yep.
he changed his name. So yeah.
So let's just get into this stuff you have here.
Okay, and then I guess, do we want to go ahead and do the suggestion box and
We
get
can
into
do that.
I
We can
guess,
get that out of the way.
for people that might want to be listening just for that reason.
Right. And then, yeah. I mean, and this is an extension on all of the suggestion box stuff
Yeah.
that we've had.
I'm gonna
up
try
this
to.
point.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all I had.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna try to release the previous podcast we had pre-recorded that I didn't release. It does have a whole section in it where we went over everything in the past that was in the suggestion box. So I am gonna re-release that, or at least make sure to release that. So make sure everybody kind of listens out for that if you're interested, and if you've ever put anything in the suggestion box and want to see what we got to say about it, that'll be where to hear it. And then today,
And this
today
is,
we'll
to be
only
fair,
cover
this
today.
is excluding like specific name drops about like people not taking hits and stuff like that. We are not doing that on this
Yeah,
podcast.
we don't want to
Right.
call
No.
anyone out like live.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
like-
You guys keep filling the
I mean, especially, with Cody being here, we definitely do not want to, shame him. But however,
We have a
I
however.
do, we have a however.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and go with my topic real quick.
Okay.
Mine is the Dumbass Award of the Day.
Oh, and we have one we've decided.
We have it's one that you and I had discussed.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm obviously aware of the
Of
situation. I'm just being coy right now.
He said coy. I thought you were Brandon.
No, I'm coy.
So, as we know, our wonderful leader North is very, very graceful and eloquent.
Yeah. Very intelligent man.
He is like spot on. However, Sir North, you received the Dumbass Award for the day.
Oh my gosh, what I do?
Whenever you tried to res the other people's res. And you were
All right.
like, what am I doing? Where am I going?
Yeah, he
I'll
did
accept that.
definitely try to res on the enemy team's res spot. So that was interesting.
You
Kind
know
of
what?
funny moment for a
Bonus
lot of
points
us.
for thinking outside the box, man.
But
So-
what I have to say about that is,
Thank you.
Yeah. Not
So-
only was I a dumbass for trying to res at the wrong area, but I also left my team out the whole time I walked all the way across the entire field.
they
And
needed
then
you.
all the way back. Yeah.
But it's
So-
okay. It all turned out all right in the end. So,
Yeah, for everyone else but me, because
Right.
I got the dumbass win.
but it's okay. Somebody had to earn it.
Did my team even win?
No,
No.
no, they definitely did not win.
Awesome.
It lasted longer than I thought it would.
It's true. Yeah.
This is kind of interesting because there's a couple of these that actually line up that are just talking in general. So this is just in general. It says, some people need to stop taking things so personal and being salty about everything that doesn't go their way. Grow up.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I've noticed there's been a lot of like people storming off and stuff. It's,
I mean, I think at the end of the day, especially, we're making an effort to go out there and have a good time. And if your idea of having a good time is winning every event, then it's going to create conflict for other people.
Yeah.
Because if you have an emotional outburst every time you die, it's an issue.
Yeah.
And that is happening out there with certain people.
yeah, I
So,
agree. I've noticed it too. I think it's unfortunate.
And to a certain degree, I understand. Like I have said before, that if somebody gets angry, they need to just walk away and come back. But the better thing to do is to not get angry. Like,
right.
no matter what's happening to people, I feel like I've never got hit in a way that like made me angry at the other person because I just assume that they didn't do it on purpose. Like, and if they're not doing it on purpose, then what am I mad about?
Yeah, I've always had the same approach. I don't think I've ever really gotten mad at anyone over the years.
And when I die and I don't expect to die and somebody kills me, I channel that into my roleplay death and give them a really cool death, and then they'll be cooler to me every time when they fight me. They'll be like, it changes the dynamic when they go to fight me next time. They're like, well, I know if I get him, he's gonna die, and not be like a chud about it or whatever. So, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is it's just as rewarding to give somebody a really cool roleplay death as it is to receive one. And if you can channel it into that instead of just getting mad and
Yeah.
it changes like their whole attitude instead of just being like, oh, and falling over dead and just being dramatic about it.
Yeah,
And then being like, well, crap, while you're on the ground
Yeah.
thinking about it.
And I think if certain people just keep getting like angry every time they get killed, it's gonna discourage others from wanting to kill them, right? Because they're gonna I don't want to.
Be the one to piss him off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just not great for anyone involved, right? So.
And I will say, especially lords, I'm not calling anyone out specifically, but I have seen some lords get really angry whenever I didn't expect them to, and it was because they lost, essentially. And
Yeah.
it was kind of shocking, honestly. So
And it happens. I mean, and here's
lords
the
are
deal,
held to
too.
a higher standard, really.
I agree. And here's the thing, too. I'm not going to say that I've never gotten frustrated by being killed or by somebody not taking their hit or whatever it might be. Like, I have. But there's, like, a good way to deal with it and a bad way to deal with it. And I feel like more often than not here lately, I've seen bad ways on dealing with it.
Yeah, you never want to make a scene. You're gonna deal with it.
No, like, if at any point you make it about you, it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what we're out there to do, so...
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree, and I kind of think that, like we had talked last week about, and we were introducing it today of being in character, having that role play, and I think that with us being out there and making that presence known and actually being the leaders of it,
Yeah.
and I think if we can show them that hey, just taking a death, we're just out here to have fun. We're not here to it's not like a football game where it's like you got to play to die.
Yeah.
And it's literally I've been playing softball in this fall, and we lost every game, but I didn't care because I was having fun.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna get mad, at least channel it like in roleplay, right? Like make your character get mad about it. Yeah. Make it a roleplay thing. Don't make it a personal thing.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
100%.
And then this one's the same thing. It says, don't be so salty about hits. It's okay if you call a hit, but if they say graze, then it's a graze. So maybe they're talking about specifically they're trying to tell their opponent that it was a graze, and then their opponent is arguing with about it, which you shouldn't do. You should just let them make their calls. For one, if people are lying, let's say, just hypothetically, that you're fighting somebody and they're lying about whether you hit them or not. If you keep acknowledging, like even if you were just like, all right, maybe I didn't, and you walked away, and you did that 3 or 4 times, I don't think that person's actually going to lie more. I think they'll lie less. I think they'll be like, oh man, maybe I need to be cooler with this guy because he is being really cool about it. And another thing I do when I fight people, like I've fought people that have been in the suggestion box for not taking hits, when I fight those people, I make sure there's not a shadow of a doubt that I hit them or that they hit me. And I don't mean I hit them hard. I mean, they do not hit me. Like I dodge everything and then make sure that I'm hitting them. And then I say, did I get you? To where they cannot deny that I got them or not, where it's like really clear. But I know that's not possible for everybody to do. But
and to be fair, if people are gonna keep, it's like someone keeps doing that, right? They're gonna end up in the suggestion box anyways. So
yeah, and
better just let that happen if they're gonna be that kind of person, than make a scene on the field or.
Yeah, if you do it 2 or 3 times, right, and they continue to do that, if they continue to slough the hits, then you should put their name in the suggestion box. So.
Plus, what I see happens is people get in arguments and they both get killed. Like someone just runs up and just taps them both.
While they're sitting there arguing. Yeah.
And I actually almost appreciate when that happens.
Yeah, I do too.
Because it ends the argument.
It just ends
the argument's over. You're both dead.
Yeah.
Like,
I hope it was worth it.
Quite honestly, you should hear some of the conversations Brandon and I have while we're sitting there watching this. We're just like,
yeah, I mean,
okay, here we go.
And the other thing too, like as somebody who just sits back and watches, I mean, we read these suggestion box stuff, and we know who's like kind of like sloughing hits and stuff like that, but we see a whole lot more of it than gets put in the suggestion box.
Right.
I mean, we see it a lot.
Yeah.
And we don't interfere unless there is an argument about it, because we really think that those people need to be able to work it out on their own. Like, it's not my job to. Something's happening here. But it's not my job.
I think I figured out what it was. Here, let me just unplug this.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
That's what it was.
But it's not my job to go in and tell every single person that I see that sloughs a hit, hey, you're dead. That's
just going to make people hate us if we start walking around trying to micromanage.
But it happens a lot. I mean, I think people need to be better about just taking their hits. Well, if you even think you got hit, take it.
Just take it, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way to be sure is if you're... And ask your opponent, every person you fight, be like, hey, did you get me there? I wasn't sure. And if they're like, yeah, I think I got your arm, just take it. And be like, all right.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that person's going to go to the suggestion box then and put something in the suggestion that you didn't take a hit.
Right. Fair.
And sometimes, it's like some people are really light and you don't really notice it, or they like graze you, but they graze you enough to count, or, sometimes people just don't notice when they get hit.
No, that's fair. Some people don't feel it, especially like with throwies, like the light throwies.
And if you're in the
and
habit
stuff like
of getting defensive about it, where instead of just being like, yeah, sure, all right, it's a better attitude to have is to just take everything.
Yep, fair.
And then sometimes when you get a good reputation, I guess that's kind of what I was saying, is once you get a good reputation as somebody who takes all their hits, if somebody's not really sure, they'll be more forgiving about it. I found in my experience anyway. Maybe that's just me, but...
And also, just like, if you end up saying you got someone or you block something, and like you notice they seem a little mad, just talk to them about it, like, out after the game. Just like, come up to them and be like...
Just touch base with them.
Yeah, hey man, like, I don't know if that was like... you actually hit me or if I actually blocked it or what. But just in case, like my bad if you did hit me and I didn't and I thought I blocked it. Just work it out. There's no reason to have like bad blood out there unless it's in character.
Right. Unless it's
That's fair.
yeah. All right, makes sense. All right. So this one just says Brandon is cool. North is awesome. Phlarp is Dominion.
I mean, fair, but I think the
I
important
agree
thing to note here
With
is
that
that
second part.
I was first on that list.
Yeah.
Awesome is way better than cool.
Well,
Like
I think that's subjective.
Awe-inspiring. I'm
but-
awe-inspiring.
Yeah. I mean,
Apparently somebody hates me. I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't include you at all.
It's just like
Yeah, I'm noticing a distinct
that Chris guy.
lack of,
Hey, forget
I'm
him.
noticing a distinct lack of me in that suggestion. Just gonna throw that out there. The only Viking wizard.
Okay, so that one's awesome. This one says Cage is beautiful.
oh,
Noted.
somebody lied.
Yeah.
I put that in the suggestion box.
Just gonna say, he did it. Okay. Hooved race, please. Elk.
Oh,
Yeah.
somebody thinks they're funny? Is that what that is?
Oh, that wasn't you? I guess you put the other one in there.
I put the cage is beautiful in there. I put nothing but no elk in there. An elk destroyed my chariot
for
this week.
context, yeah. This one kind of says the same thing, although at the end it does call out a few people. I'm not going to read those, obviously, but it says address players' anger problems towards others.
Yeah, and we've kind of already discussed that. I mean, we're not going to get specific names or anything like that, but people do need to control their emotions better whenever they get hit or feel like they hit somebody and they didn't take it or whatever it is. So
Yeah, like I was saying, I think it's like if you really want to like get upset, I think it'd be like really cool to just like make it a role play thing, man. Make it your character. Like have your character be like, you know what? I
I'm
don't like
confused
your
about that one.
character.
this is from
Sorry.
This
Yeah.
is from last week.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
And
I thought it was a
because I
game.
know who wrote that. It was me, and so I
Oh, you know for sure you didn't do it. Again.
right. That was last week.
Okay.
And that's already been addressed.
Wonder why I left that one in there.
I'm not sure.
Because you're north and you're a little cuckoo crazy.
Apparently.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay,
Um,
so that's the suggestion box. That's
yeah.
it.
And also, okay, so that's the suggestion box. That's that part. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about Chain of Fools. I did change that a little bit. Does everybody seem like that was an okay
Yeah,
way to
no, I
change
think
Yeah.
it went
the
really
res
well. I
points
think people enjoyed that today.
Okay.
Definitely, because I'm used to it, like no abilities or classes. I could have sworn they used to be like that.
I think it was the last
yeah.
time we played it.
But it definitely feels different with like that kind of limitation. I mean, I ended up like in a scenario as a wizard where I didn't have my stone, so I had to like get third with just a little dagger axe.
Was it outside the entire play area or just in a
I
different
just wasn't gonna
box?
kill myself to go get it. I was too far. I was like, nah, you know what? I'm just gonna hope for the best with this axe I just got and see where it goes. But yeah,
So
I think
you got that kill without a
oh,
magic stone?
I got multiple kills without my stone.
We're just using the staff.
Yep, using the staff and the dagger. But I think it adds for like a unique dynamic, like, because then people have to like consider that they gotta be more careful with where they.
It's like resource management, sort of. Makes sense. And then I guess I kind of went over this a little bit, but I did go over in character some what I'm calling rumors, because usually before the game, and actually let's just do the game day format next.
Okay.
So this is just like I'm gonna run like the listener through on what would happen at a normal day at Phlarp. You'd get there, we'd log you in. This is if your character's already been created, you already have a waiver signed. If you're the first time you come out, you'll have to do those two things. But assuming you've already got those two things, you come in, you tell one of the moderators that you're there, so they'll log you in, and then about every hour we play a game. But the first thing we do is do a costume contest. So we do a costume contest, which we have a first, second, and third for. And then
A patrol, if there's any new heroes
Mhm.
there.
Any new initiates?
Yeah.
We
Now,
do
obviously, you
patrol.
guys know what a patrol is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not something that I should have to explain here, but it's basically an event for the new players to get them acquainted with the game and us and how we role play with each other and that kind of thing. So
Yeah, we try to do that at the beginning of the day as opposed to the end. So
Right.
if new people come in near the end, sometimes we don't do the patrol with them.
in fact, there was an instance there today where there was a new player that showed up after we
Yeah.
had already done one patrol, and so
Oh,
if they come back next week, we'll have to
Yeah.
do another for that person.
Patrol can take a while, so it's
It
best to
can.
get it out of the way
Yeah.
early, and then if someone shows up halfway through, then just do it the next week.
And I did think Just as a whole, I think the patrol went rather well today.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I feel like I gave a lot of extra effort in explaining what I wanted done via the orcs and the goblins today, and I
Well,
feel like that they role
yeah.
played a lot better than they normally do.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed is that some people take patrol as like, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna win, and it's a little noticeable.
But to be fair, I did explain to everyone
Yeah.
today that was not the purpose of this
Yeah,
event.
definitely. I think it's just like people get in that mindset where it's like, I want to go like clown on these fools, I guess, and it's like that's not really what it's about, you know.
No, it's literally about
Yeah.
giving the new people a good experience, you know, and
Yeah.
But I think it's just hard to get like in that mindset sometimes because you
Maybe.
gotta like kind of purposely rein yourself back a bit. But you know, I think it's good to do that. You know.
Maybe some way that we could help people remember is be sure to tell them that we're wanting the patrol to be as good for
Yeah.
the new people as it was for them.
Yeah,
We don't want
definitely.
any to be like not as cool.
I do genuinely wish you could have heard all the things that was said today before the patrol, because all of those things were discussed.
Yeah, they were.
And they were addressed. All of those things that
Yeah.
you're bringing up.
Oh, okay.
Like, they were all talked about.
And I definitely noticed it wasn't as bad as it usually is.
Oh,
so
so
I
maybe
think it
that just-
actually helped. Yeah, I think it should be just something to like maybe bring up every weekend just so people like get in the right mindset. Because sometimes, you know, like they treat it like it's an event and more instead of like what it really is, which is getting new players acquainted.
Right. And I even think today maybe that people thought I was long-winded in explaining the things that I was explaining before you guys came over. But, you know, if they have to dislike me because I'm long-winded in explaining what I want done, then so be it. Because the whole point of this is for the good experience for the new players.
Yeah.
And I think people are starting to realize that a little bit more. Like, then maybe they're picturing their first event and, like, you know, they want it to be a good experience. I mean, some people literally come back because of how good the patrol is.
Yeah.
I've had people say, even since we've been back, that they weren't sure about playing with us until they did patrol. And
Yeah,
then they were
I mean,
like, oh, once I did patrol,
It
I was
is
sold.
a total icebreaker for people,
Yeah.
especially people that aren't sure.
Well,
They're
it's-
like, I don't know about this.
It's a genius like setup because I remember we used to do like in the old days.
That was
just,
terrible.
You
Our
just,
old initiation was awful.
you just go out, all right, you go out there by yourself.
Yeah.
And everyone in the group,
There would be like 50
They
people
would just
charging
charge
at one
you.
person. It
Yeah.
was horrible.
and they're
And
just
then-
in the middle, man. Not sure what to do. They just get absolutely massacred.
My favorite example of that is somebody trying to win initiation. They were talking about, can I win or whatever? And we're like, I don't know. We've never had anybody win, but you could try.
Yeah.
And they literally ran off. They
Yeah.
ran off the whole
They
park.
ran away. They ran out of the park.
They might have
It's
even come back later that day or whatever,
Yeah.
but they straight ran off.
It's
like
intimidating.
out of the park.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, dude. I guess they won. They,
Yeah.
ran off. they
Yeah.
just like sprinted
Yeah.
home.
No, they didn't win. They lost. They lost poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And with that being said, like, if we don't have any new people, can we just like do a patrol anyway? Just
I
kind
mean, we
of.
could, but I don't really see the point of it. I
Yeah.
mean, the whole point of it is for the new people. I mean,
But I do have a game that I'm working on that has to do with sieging the town, and it has monsters and heroes in it. So
Okay.
it would be the equivalent of patrol for people that have already been
Yeah.
through patrol.
Okay.
It's like a more complicated version of the towns, the goblins attacking and stuff.
Gotcha.
Because people were making suggestions about having more roleplay monsters fighting. So I'm developing like a game that we can play just like we would call a normal game. And it centers around that, but without
Okay. That sounds awesome to me.
without the actual patrol itself, like or whatever. But it's very similar. So
Cool.
what was I originally starting this with? Oh, it's a game day format.
Yeah.
Game day format. Yeah.
Okay, so we do the patrol if we have any new players, and then we do our first game. Usually we always play last man standing first, and then we do random games every hour past that. So we usually play about, a total of, I guess, 4 games.
4 to 5.
Sometimes 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we get another one in at the end of the day. Throughout the day, generally speaking, we roll a dice, and whenever that dice lands on, we play the game that is
Yeah.
associated with that roll.
I like the newer like format because it's better than like the same like 3 games because everyone's gonna always vote like minion or like a team-based event, which is
Cool.
Yeah, it definitely adds more flavor.
and that's good to get that player's perspective.
Yeah, because people just don't like minion, right? It can be a very long like
We had people sit
exhausting.
out on Minion
Yeah.
because it was long.
Yeah. But to be fair, I think it's kind of a polarizing game because there's some people who think that Minion is the best game. That
It
we
can be.
have.
That's
It
true.
can also
Yeah.
just be really frustrating, right? Like when you get backstabbed and you got a big group.
I mean, I think that's kind of on you because because I think at the end of the day you have to understand that that's what people are trying to do during Minion. And so
that's all they can do.
One
once
thing
you
that
get a
I've
huge
noticed
group.
as a former player and someone who watches Minion every time it's played or whatever is I feel like the biggest flaw in the masters of the groups of Minion is that they don't control their minions good enough.
Yeah.
Like they're just kind of letting them do whatever they want to do. Like
And they get killed. Or,
that's why they die.
Yeah.
If I have my guys and I'm saying, hey, look, your job is to keep my back protected, then I don't think those backstabs happen nearly as often.
I
Yeah, I
agree.
agree. When I played, that's what I was always
Yeah.
on to the people. I would after I killed them, be like, all right, well, get right back to me as soon as you can, and then I wouldn't even engage anybody else until that person comes back.
Yeah.
Well, even you can be like as well micromanaged as possible, and you'll still get like sometimes someone will just get you anyways. It's part of the game.
No, that's the name of the
Yeah.
game, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean that's basically it. I mean, and then at the end of the day, I think one of the things that I did like today was, I didn't specifically notice anyone doing it, but at the end of the day, I would appreciate if our players helped us pick up trash and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, we don't want Phlarp to have a bad reputation for leaving a mess at the park.
We
Can I get back to that for a minute?
Yeah.
I was going to say, and then what we do with those games when we rotate through those games is we don't play the same one twice until we've played them all once.
yeah,
Yeah.
I heard you mention something like
so
that.
that if there's like a dust on my finger, so that it's kind of like what you were saying, so that if somebody doesn't like a game, we have a chance to improve it. We
Yeah.
now know, we because like they might avoid, like, say, Capture the Flag. That hasn't come back up yet because people really don't like that game. But I have changed it a little bit, and when we play it again, if they don't like that, at least it gives us opportunity to fix it and do
it's
anything
a good way to
about
like kind of get cause I remember way back in the day we did like was it playtest Saturdays where we would like try new things out.
it. Yeah, I think we did have a time where we did
but
that.
now it's now like this current is a good way of like kind of playtesting and like fine tuning events, right? Because it makes sure you get through every event we have so that we know what people like or don't like about it instead of just hoping enough people bring it up.
And also it doesn't make it not only where we play the same games over and over, but like it doesn't make it to where there's only there's nobody one person like or group of people responsible for what the next game is. It's just chance. So so if it's a game somebody doesn't like, they can't be mad at anybody because like nobody actually picked that game. So and then what I was going to say was before we play the first game, I forgot to mention this part. Before we play the first game, but after we have done whatever patrol we end up doing, I usually do some sort of out-of-game announcements. And what I'm starting to do now is an in-game thing where we all go to the anybody that's interested in it, because sometimes people just keep talking and I don't want to have to like scream over everybody. So we just go to the tavern, and I basically just, for the people who want to hear it, I tell them in-game what me and, probably the people that I'm considering in quotes in my clan, which is Brandon and Chris, to tell them what we're doing as like in game, why we're doing stuff, to help explain like the lore and the other surrounding things, to hopefully get people into roleplay a little bit more.
Yeah, that's I guess that's a topic I want to address at some point or like bring up is just like a roleplay and like just as a general like topic, because I think it's something that I've noticed like over the years, because I've been like doing this with Phlarp since like almost the beginning, but so I've seen a lot over the years when it comes to roleplay, and I feel like I guess it'd be something neat to talk about when you're done discussing like.
Okay,
whatever.
I wrote it down so we wouldn't forget.
Yeah.
And then after we play 4 or 5 games, at the end of the day, what Brandon was getting, kind of to get back what Brandon was saying, what we're going to start trying to do every time is making sure everybody picks up before when we had LARP, like you said. And if you want to jump in and take over, because I'm back to your subject.
Yeah, no, I mean, just there was a lot of trash everywhere today. And I know that some of it's not our trash. Like, we show up to the park and there's trash there that does not belong to us. I try to pick that up, too.
Do we still give XP for picking up trash? 'Cause I know
No,
we
not
used to.
anymore. I think we really should focus on donation XP given
Yeah.
for donations. I think that picking up trash at the end of the day is kind of something that a player should almost feel obligated
Yeah, they
to
should
do.
feel obligated to do, but
I don't think we should have to reward them for doing that. They should just do it.
Yeah.
And specifically, they
I
should pick
agree.
up their own trash. I picked up, without exaggerating, probably 20 empty water bottles today
Yeah, they're real
that people
bad about
just
the
left
empty water
Yeah.
bottles.
all over the place. That's ridiculous.
yeah.
Like, if you have a water bottle, throw it away. Like, it's not
Yeah.
your own
Yeah.
personal
Or at
pigsty. It's
least
a
just,
public
like-
park. And you're making Phlarp look bad by doing that.
Yeah.
And we give the waters away for free anyway, so the
Yeah.
least you can do is throw the trash away.
There's a
when
trash
you're done with
can
it.
like right next to all the pavilions,
Yeah.
so there's almost
Yeah.
not really an excuse.
There's not.
It's just laziness.
Yep. So the whole point is just help us pick up the trash at the end of the day, and specifically pick up your own trash. It's ridiculous.
And I will also say one of the reasons why we don't have that rule is because if I make that rule, I have to start quantifying how much trash they
Yeah.
have to pick up, and I don't like somebody coming up to me with the minimum amount that I've quantified.
It's like,
and
oh,
be
I did my minimum
Oh yeah,
amount.
here's what I did. You
It's
know,
like disrespectful. Just pick up your trash. That's it.
Just clean
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. So which is why I went the route of sort of just kind of guilt farming and being like,
Yeah.
well, hey, we're gonna pick up the trash if you guys want to.
Well,
That'd
like,
be great.
We want to be like seen in the positive light in the community, right? You don't want to be
Yeah.
like seen as like this destructive group of hooligans that just leaves like 80,000 water bottles all over the park, you know? So
Yeah, like before, we always had a repetition of that. At the end of the day, we would always pick up everything.
Yeah.
And, like I say, try to leave it better than even we found it, even if it wasn't our trash.
yeah.
So,
Yep.
No, I think it's just good for just in general.
And it helps out other things too. Like, fun fact, I walked the actual field today at the end of the day because I just wanted to make sure there was no trash in the field, no thrown weapons, nothing like that left from us, you know. And I found a cell phone today that belonged to one of the players that would have just been left in the field had I not walked the field for
Yeah.
trash.
Man,
So
I can't imagine.
it probably would have got
playing-
ruined too if it had
Yeah.
stayed there
Oh,
like
absolutely.
overnight,
Oh,
like
absolutely.
stolen or
Yeah.
something.
I can't imagine playing with the phone in your pocket, man. I've never done that. That's like that's happened for so many problems.
I took mine out before I played today.
Uh-huh.
Or you could do like me too, which that book kind of fell out of my little holder today, but you could get like a hideaway book.
Yeah,
and
I
put
just
your
throw mine in
phone
my
inside of it.
backpack.
Then you can fight with it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like I said, it did fall out today, so
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway, and
so
then
that's
we clean up.
Yeah, I mean that's basically it.
Yeah,
Connor.
log out. That's basically it. Yeah, I can't think of it. Yeah, that's it.
I had a question
that off,
today, or I guess something I want to discuss more so, not so much a question, but it's been brought to my attention that hand guards on swords no longer protect hand shots, and I don't remember it always being that way. So I guess the first thing I want to ask is that the case, and if so, why?
Yes, and I can tell you when it started happening was when before we left the property. It had to do with the glaives. Those glaives were in play, and a glaive is basically like a punch shield in a way because you no longer have to worry about your hand, especially those glaives, those one special glaives I got wherever they're at. They encase your entire hand. So I basically told people from then, I had told people about the glaives that if you're going to wield those and not take damage to your hand whenever people hit that area where your hand is, then you have to have hand armor. So if you had hand armor, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I guess there's not.
And it was to prevent everybody from building everybody from building.
Yeah.
Being like, why wouldn't you build a hand guard on it if it's going to
Well,
protect your hands? I
yep.
don't need hand armor. I can just put a whole thing
Frees
around
up
my hand.
Frees up a skill point, lets you get around. Like,
Yeah.
Lets you
Yeah.
kind of meta
So
game a bit.
there's my issue.
Okay, and I guess to be fair, there would not be. I guess it would be too complicated to try to write something specific that didn't include glaives for that particular rule.
Wasn't there? I could have sworn.
So a hand guard on a sword,
Yeah, as opposed to a glaive. Like a glaive is its own separate category.
would everybody just make...
I don't know. I don't know what everybody would do. That's why I'm asking.
So
Yeah.
if they did, and then we said, okay, this isn't going to work, then they're going to have to tear apart all those swords and all their money investment and whatever. And they'd be like upset about it. I don't know what that one was. Maybe...
I don't know.
Oh, is support assist. I don't need that.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm more or less asking the
So
question.
I'm open to
Okay.
suggestions about it.
That's fair.
But
and
that's just where I was
how-
at on-
I will say that a player came to me specifically, asked me about the rule. I didn't know about this new rule. So I will take that information back to the player and tell them if they have a suggestion, put it in the
to
suggestion
overcome
box.
that.
Yeah, because and I'll tell them the specific issue or the reason that it was brought up or whatever. So I don't have an issue with it. I don't play. But I'm just saying that it was brought up to me. They obviously didn't like the rule, but
Yeah,
at the same
I-
time,
Did
there is
their-
hand
did
armor
their
for
hand-
almost every single class. So and
True.
they were not a wizard. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And although they're not all at low levels. Originally I was saying hand armor is for low levels for everyone. That's not true. I think it's like Rangers is one of the last ones to get it, I think, or I want to say. And it's like 4th level or something.
I mean that's still pretty
That's,
low
So
level.
it's conceivable.
As a general thought, out of curiosity, have you ever considered, like, because of all the like I guess issues and like how like you balance hand armor, like just making hands not count, like amp guard does.
Yeah, we've thought about it, but that's a terrible rule, in my opinion. And
The problem is what we were discussing, and this wasn't broadcast, so I guess nobody
Right,
knows this, but
right.
we discussed it last podcast. We were basically saying that the hard part about it is that you don't know where their hand
Yeah.
stops, and then they just decide that their hand stops
Yeah.
at their elbow or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
And some people are that dramatic about it, really.
Yeah, that's fair. I was just curious because I know that's how they do things over there, but I know like yeah.
I will say though that there was something somebody brought to me about like, well, what if can you just slap an arrow out of the air? And originally I had said yes, but I'm changing that, kind of nerfing hand armor in a way to now you have to have a weapon in your hand to be able to do that, just like amp guard.
Yeah.
So really, it's kind of nerfing it almost. But I mean, I don't know what else to do about it because otherwise,
Good way to break an arrow, man.
the least
It's a good
likely
way to break a finger.
It's
Yeah.
true.
I don't want people
Yeah.
trying to grab
Trying to
weapons
slap a
with their
weapon, yeah.
hands.
Trying to be
That's
cool.
a terrible
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really think about it at first. I was like, well, yeah, I guess you can do that. But technically, that's also like supposed to be kind of like a cool ability.
It's
for,
an ability later on in the game.
Yeah,
So like it
there's-
doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense for that to be a thing.
to be a universal thing whenever it's specific.
Yeah, I get making hands count just because of people are gonna like abuse the fact if you make them not count. Because I know in amp guard they like will punch your attack out of the way and stuff. So, but yeah, I was just curious, because I know it can be a pain to figure out how you get around all of the limitations with having hands count.
Yeah, there's a lot of gray areas that you got to work
Yeah.
with. It makes it less gray whenever we say that they have to have some sort of physical representation
Yeah.
that stops at
No,
their wrist.
definitely.
So we know where to. So when you're fighting them, you know, oh well, if I go up a little bit on that, I'll be all right.
Yep.
But if you're fighting somebody who's ignoring everything from their elbows down,
Saying
What do you do?
hands.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just a unfortunate.
punch their weapon out of the way.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like amp guard. Yeah.
I mean, me personally, my sash that I have, that sash is the sash of badassdom, which means that you cannot. I'm just armor,
You're fully armored.
fully armored.
What about the bottom of your feet?
fully armored?
Wow.
I am that badass.
What about
That's
annihilating
impressive.
strike? Do you just like turn to dust?
Nothing works on me.
Annihilating strike.
No.
He just disintegrates.
My one weakness.
Where is that bullshit button?
It was on the other side of the table, unfortunately. So that's that. I mean, that's
Oh yeah,
basically
so take that back to him, yeah. And if you find out something or they have a suggestion, I'm cool with opening. Or I'm open to ideas about how to handle that. That's just the best conclusion that I could come to, or most reasonable thing to do about it.
okay.
And then and I went over
did that,
this.
yep.
Yep. Do you want to talk about your role play thing that you were?
Yeah,
talking
so I think this is like just kind of a general discussion. I think people have like a weird misconception about roleplay where they think it's really hard to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it's not. I almost think like you just go with what feels natural. Like roleplay can be like as simple as like talking in a goofy voice, or just like even talking in your regular voice, but like imagining. I don't know. I just feel like people have a weird misconception that you gotta be like really good at acting to do it, and it's like hard to get people out of that. So I guess that's my general thought. Like, it's
Do you find that other people have told you that, or do you think maybe that's just what you thought?
I've heard people say that over the years, and I've thought that myself way back, way back in the day. Like, oh man, this is so hard. I can't do voices to save my life. But it's just something you gotta get used to, and you almost gotta like step out of your comfort zone just a little bit. And I find that once you do, it's like it kind of comes more natural. But yeah, I guess I'm curious on what you guys' thoughts are in the current role play versus like,
Some of this might be a little rehashed from last podcast.
I
but
would say bottom line is this. I'm not very happy with like the current status of roleplay, but I feel like the only way that I can improve it is by improving my own roleplay.
yeah,
So if you want more roleplay more.
yeah, I agree.
I think that's literally the answer.
Yeah, I feel like that's like what was like how it was in the past when we had so many people. We had like some really crazy like role play that would happen, and it would definitely get more people amped to do it because they see all this crazy in character stuff happen. They almost feel like they want to join in.
It seemed like to me, this is just my opinion, and it seemed like to me today there was more roleplay than there was last week. And even if it's a little bit each week, that adds up.
Yeah,
It does.
So
And I tried this week to roleplay
Right.
more. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but I
yeah,
was trying
no,
to stay
you
in
certainly
character
did.
as much
And
as
I tried to
could.
use at least a voice more often than
Yeah.
I did the week prior. So
And your costume's on the way.
Well, we'll see. I'm working on it.
And I know your costume, Heston, is on the way as well. So at least
Yeah.
eventually it'll get there. So
Yeah, I have a costume. I just need to get my clan colors set up and everything. But yeah, I think having a costume like does help. Like you just feel like
Oh yeah.
I know like when there are days when I show up without a costume and it's like it's so much harder to get in the role play almost.
Oh, I agree.
It just feels like
Agree 100%.
wrong because you're just in like sweatpants and t-shirt and you're trying to role play. It just doesn't feel right.
Well, I mean, somebody with a Kiss T-shirt and a pair of shorts trying to role play. Like, really?
Yeah, it's
Joke's on you. I didn't have that shirt on when I was role playing today.
Whatever. Still,
I can vouch for that. He did change into that.
Yeah.
Shirt.
jokes on you
I
that
think,
you still suck at role play.
That's not true, and
Yeah.
it's very rude.
I think as a general note to people who want more role play, yeah, I agree. Like just
Role play
go out,
yourself.
just go out. Like there is actually correct me if I'm wrong, but we have what is it called? In between games where if you like leave the tavern, it counts as
Campaign. We had a
Campaign?
campaign.
Yeah.
that's like active, isn't it?
Yeah,
So-
and it's not being utilized at all that I've seen.
Yeah, I almost
No.
feel like maybe like bring it up more or
Maybe
like let
and,
people know.
and if I did it in character without breaking character,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, careful, you're outside the limits
Yeah.
of the city, you might die.
Yeah, that's something we definitely could do. I feel like that's good
because I
advice.
know a lot of stuff happened in campaign that was like crazy. But
I feel like as much as we can address in character as possible
Yeah.
would help.
Oh
Yeah.
Well, we should be making an active effort not to break character. I think as moderators.
Right.
Mhm.
It's like you get there and you try to stay in character the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as
and
opposed to-
like sometimes it's very difficult. Like I'm not going to say it's going to happen
Yeah.
perfect every time, but we can definitely make an active effort to be better about it.
Yeah, and there are times where, I might feel like I'm fine being in character. And I just want to clarify this a little bit. When we say in character, we mean you're ad-libbing essentially as another, like a role in like a movie or something. Like if you
Yeah.
were going to play Iron Man or something. This is kind of like way out there, but you're basically fulfilling that role in real time. There's no script, no nothing. You're just ad-libbing
you're just
essentially.
winging it.
Yeah. But even when there are times where I would be, not necessarily out of character, but I'm just not saying anything, where if I might go over to say something to somebody, like basically I could prompt people more in character and to try to get them to interact with me in character, because then it makes them more comfortable.
Yeah.
To where
I
they're
think,
doing it, like one of the places that I feel like it really lacks is like in the middle of battle.
oh yeah.
People are like totally, they're not in character at all. They're just like, I'm just here to win or whatever. I don't know what they're thinking, but
True.
instead of being like, what about you, Wilhelm? You want to, like when they're picking people or something. I used him as an example again, but whoever being like, you want to fight there? Or like Wilhelm today, I was role playing with him a little bit because he was talking about my legs being gone, and I was like, I'm not dead, and then somebody killed me. But
Yeah.
yeah,
even
we
interacting-
laughed at that one.
It can be hard sometimes. Like when you get into like a big fight, it's almost like hard. Like it's challenging sometimes to kind of fall into a character if you're not used to being in character the whole day. So like I almost feel like if you want to like you just try and be in character as much as possible, because you'll get better at maintaining character in like combat. Because I try and stay in character, but it's like sometimes it's just really hard. Yeah, I think if we can get like more, I guess like so more people know about campaign and how it works and stuff. And then like if you guys want to see more like roleplay, like just go out there and like get someone else who's interested in roleplay or who does roleplay and like, hey, you want to go out there and like do something? Like maybe like we can like have our characters hate each other, start a beef or something. Then go outside the pavilion and like start some roleplay. And I noticed back in the old days, like people doing that would just encourage others to join in. Like it's super effective at that.
Yeah, so there's not much we can do about other people role playing other than role playing super hard ourselves.
True.
Yep.
I think is the
Agreed.
conclusion.
So we just had a couple more things to discuss on your list here, right?
Yeah, one thing I want to discuss, but we're also getting close to the hour mark, and I don't want to run these over an hour every time. So if we got more stuff, we'll just put it off till next week.
Yeah, works for me.
But I'm going to go ahead and try to get this out of the way. I'm going to put an actual picture of this so that the audience will see what I'm talking about. I just wanted to explain to you this, Cody, because you're like and we have already seen this, I think. So this is the way our town looks. There's a river up here, and like I said, I'm going to put prompts on the visuals aids for people. But so the river comes in up here where you come down. You know the story about being on the beach, right? So you come up the river with the one guy, the ferryman. Mm-hmm. There's the dock. Oh, okay, yeah, here we go. Here's an actual. Does it go like this? If I, oh well, it doesn't matter. Here, look at that. See that?
Yeah.
That's so that when we come in on the dock to come into town, that stirs up the people around us. We used to control all the woods around the town right there. but we've lost control of that.
Uh-huh.
So we're bolstering our defenses in game is like the in-game reason why we're doing what we're doing, to be able to gain control of this town, this area that's around the town, but not necessarily everywhere. When we go to property eventually, hopefully, that's when we'll start branching out and doing what we did before with campaign, because we have a whole another like kind of
Yeah, that makes
campaign
sense.
set up. And then another thing I want to talk to about a little bit is what do you guys think about waiting until we have, like, I want some sort of minimum on the number of clans and the number of people within those clans before we have a battle for the crown, before we actually have an official battle for the crown.
Well, my current thoughts are most like over half the clans are essentially one clan. Oh, right. I feel like there's a lot of sister clans right now, so that's like an awkward situation to be in.
Yeah, they the reason they disbanded some of their clan was because of the rule about we needed the maximum number of people you can have in your clan.
And I say that as someone in one of their sister clans, but that is a thing that there's like a lot of our clans are.
Which is why I said there needs to be a minimum number of people within those clans.
Yeah.
So if there's like, let's say, at least, it's weird because we can have up to 8 people eventually in our clans.
Yeah.
But I don't really want to wait for 8 clans to form. But it depends on how many people they have in their clans. If they're just getting like the bare minimum, I don't think that's good enough. Basically. So let's say like, what would it be?
I don't know if it's a good idea at this point to set a specific number.
Just wait
I
and
think
see how
we
it
should
unfolds.
I think we use the eye test and we go by ear on this one, because like was said by Cody here, if there's 4 sister clans and a total of 6 clans, they're ultimately going to determine who wins the battle for the crown anyway. So like, I just feel like,
and they'll do the same thing I just said, which was they'll do whatever the minimum takes to get the crown, and then they'll just get the crown.
Yeah. And they're going to ultimately decide who has the crown, which is not really what Battle for the Crown should be anyway.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a former player who ultimately decided that. Like, it's just not fun.
This did just kind of make me think of that, but apparently Sir Cody is creating his own clan with all those new people.
Good.
So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I
that's
think
great.
Encouraging more clans, because we have enough people, I think, for at least 1 or 2 more decent clans.
I also feel like we have a problem, though, where even though there's a bunch of these clans, I haven't seen some of these people in weeks. Like, so some of these clans, you got 1 or 2 people showing up every week. I mean, at what point do we go, hey, you don't have the number of required people to have a clan?
Like, not only minimum amount of people in your clan, but a minimum amount of consistent people.
Yeah,
also,
right. And there were people that were consistent throughout the summer that I haven't seen in weeks. Like, now I'm not going to name any names, but there's people that I've noticed that are missing.
And even if they are, have life or whatever going on, that still does bring down that number of people that was in that
and
clan.
it results in a lot of like clans that are like effectively 1 or 2 people that are off the recruitment like list of possible people to get in a clan, because they're technically in a clan, but they're not, because it's like 1 or 2 people.
And maybe that's a little bit my fault, because I said right then, when I was talking to them about this rule about the maximum number of people you can have in your clan is equal to the number of clans that exist, they immediately started trying to create other clans so that they could spread their people out correctly or whatever. But maybe I should wait till those clans are actually formed and have taken the Lord's Oath and actually done everything they need to do to be able to be recognized as a clan before I up that number of players that are in that clan.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
That's a decent suggestion, I think.
That could be
Because has anyone even taken the Lord's Oath at this point?
No one
Not
has.
a single person?
Yeah.
Correct.
And there's a lot of clans that don't even have that don't even wear their colors. I mean, and I say that as someone who like currently isn't, but I'm like in the process of getting my garb and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely like outside of like 1 or 2 clans, they're not really repping their clans.
I can think
Makes
of
it
literally
confusing.
1 clan that wears colors that they should. And I don't know. I just feel like we should wait for that, in my opinion. We should wait for a battle for the crown.
Okay.
I remember
that's my opinion, but that's my thought
fine with
process
that.
on the whole situation.
I'm fine with that.
And what are your thoughts about so our clans, like while we're at the park, our clans gonna do like what we did way back, where like they get like a section of the park to themselves as their property or their land while we're at the park? Or...
I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah, I don't think so, but it depends on what people want. Like whenever Jonathan Trapp was a lord, he was talking about getting a particular land, and if he would have still tried to pursue it, I would have made something happen in that regard. But yeah, it's further out than I'd I would rather wait until we go to property to do that so we can build permanent structures.
Yeah, it's definitely
Right.
a lot easier.
I mean, that does make sense, but I will say this. Because I remember as a lord feeling this way. Whenever that happened, there was a lot more campaign play than there was prior.
Yeah. I
It
think
did
so, too.
increase the amount of campaign play, for
'Cause
sure.
people were naturally like
Oh,
sitting
when they
at
had to
their-
go to their places.
In the
yeah.
park?
I mean,
Yeah.
because you could. I mean,
You go mess
there
with
were
them or-
there were territory
Yeah.
wars. I mean,
Oh,
why
yeah.
are you on my land? Like that was a question, or arguments over where land started and stopped. I mean,
Yeah.
that was a thing that happened.
Or like people wanted like the better land because like, oh, this land's all downhill, and I want like land that's like on top of a hill.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and then we sent people, right? Didn't we send people whenever we'd go to play a game
Yep,
or
you
something?
sent
We'd like
someone-
send a guy
yeah,
to
you
try
sure
to run down
did.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I
was a
could do
thing.
that.
I actually
We
think
had
it worked
it was
pretty
like
well.
a town guard, right?
Yeah.
It was the King's Town Guard that had to do that.
I think so. I think it's not a bad idea.
I think it's a good idea. I just, like I said before, I'm
Maybe
not
wait.
sure we're there yet.
Yeah, maybe wait till we have like a
Yeah.
few more solid like clans that we
Agreed.
know are gonna like
Yeah.
stick it out. You know?
And another issue that I foresaw was basically the money that it would take to, like, if I say, okay, you can have this land. First of all, you have to have your banner, which is okay. That's supposed to be like part of one of the things you have as a lord.
Yeah.
But like I was talking to Jonathan about it before he decided not to be a lord anymore or whatever. He was saying that I was asking him, I was like, would you buy like a gazebo or something that would fold out so that there's some kind of structure there besides just you
People-
guys like sitting
Yeah,
there?
people used to have like tents and stuff they would use
Which I'm fine with. I
as
just
like a keep. Like yeah.
we just need to figure out like some kind of consistent method to be able to do that with. Do you just have to have the flag, and then it's up to you to figure out like what do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I think you have a banner for your land or something that
stake down.
identifies, hey, this is my
And-
place, and then at that point they can decorate it however they want to decorate
Maybe
it.
a chest.
Agreed.
We used to have like some kind of like storage thing they had to have, right?
Yeah, but
For-
that was more so for the property. That's a whole different thing that I
Oh,
don't want to get into
yeah.
right now because it's not going to matter for a long
Uh
time.
huh.
That
Yeah,
would bleed over into the property
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mechanics.
Yeah.
I definitely think just having like a banner set and maybe just like a
enough.
small
Now,
tent or
I will tell
something.
you, if I was a lord, there's no way I'm just putting up a banner.
Yeah.
Like I'm going
Right.
to have an actual setup that I'm going to have to show up
Well, yeah.
probably an hour before LARP starts in order to set up. I
And-
did that before.
And
Mm-hmm.
what's another useful thing about that is it makes more people see us. It gets more eyes because like
Oh,
you're
yeah,
more spread out
absolutely.
and there's a lot of crazy like some people be walking, they'll be like, why are these like people like chilling over here? Like what's going on?
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Spreads itself.
And
right?
I
Yep.
also feel like
gets more eyes.
it provides a really good example for what a clan should be if somebody shows up and a clan looks like a clan.
Yeah,
A clan
And
if somebody shows up and a clan has 6 members all in matching colors and they have a gazebo set up
Yep.
and chairs and what they consider
at
their
their
castle
land.
and a banner and all
Yep.
this stuff, people are going to go, I want to be like that clan.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to
Yeah.
do the same thing. And
Mhm.
then we're going to look really good.
and then when there's like a top clan that like is that cool and like they're like people are gonna want to like replace that. They want to be the top clan.
Oh,
they want to be
absolutely.
seen as the cool clan.
I think of, when
they-
I say things like this, I think of the clan that hangs out in the burger hole or whatever it is and role models.
Dude, I always think of role models.
Dude,
When they
I
first
always-
walk up there
Dude.
and they're like, "It's the king, bow," and everybody's bowing. I was like, "I'm not doing that."
Yeah.
Just sitting there looking at him.
like
It'd be
that's
cool if they
that's what
actually
I
did
would
that.
like strive to be.
I would bow.
That
I'd be
dude
like,
was
"Dude, I'm bowing."
awesome. That whole
Yeah.
clan was dope. Like that. I mean, that's what I want to
definitely.
be. Like if I'm a lord, I want to be that kind of level cool.
Mhm.
And
You
even
know?
when they walked up to him inside the burger joint,
They
they
made
were
him
going
kiss
in and
his
out
hand.
of
Do you remember-
character.
do you
Like,
remember-
yeah, they're like kiss my
Kiss
hand.
my hand. Like that is awesome.
I feel like as a clan, you
That's a
want
whole nother
as
level of
many
role
people
play.
Yeah.
to join you or to be you as possible. in my
Oh, I
opinion.
agree.
Yeah.
I want every single person that comes out there, even if I don't want them in my clan, I want them to want to be in my
Yeah.
clan.
No, totally. I agree.
Somebody could ask, "Hey, could I join your clan?" And I have no interest in that person being in my clan at all, and I'm still going to be like, "Well, I'll have to talk to the clan. We may consider it." Like,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Or we'll give you a tryout or something. But like that's the level that I strive
Yeah,
to
I'd
be.
be like, I'll tell you what, you can be in my clan under one condition.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a favor one day.
yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
People would do stuff like that,
Oh,
man.
I guarantee they will.
Oh, like, oh yeah. There was some crazy
Go ahead and
politics.
submit your application.
Right.
Yeah, dude. Back when we had like almost the whole park, like we had like 60 people or something. Like
I
all
think
these
at one
clans
point we
spread
had
out.
like 75 people out.
Oh
at the
yeah,
park.
Mhm.
you had them spread out all over the place on their land. There was some crazy Game of Thrones politics going on back then, man. Like some wheeling and dealing stuff.
I specifically remember Battle for the Crowns where there was like
Oh.
50 people on one
Yeah.
side. Like it just was a wipe.
Yeah, because people would be like, "All right, look, we're gonna deal with the current king. We don't like him very much."
I mean, that's happened to me
Yeah.
too.
Oh, oh, I remember. We'll give you a cut of the profits
Right.
if you team up against this current leader.
That's why this game's so great, though, is
Oh,
because
yeah.
the politics, the
Yeah.
potential for the politics. And what's sad is the people that are there right now don't realize how good it could be.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
it's a matter of like experiencing it. Like, cause me, you, like we've seen it at like when it was at its craziest. Yeah, North obviously.
Yeah.
You could probably do. I could probably do a whole podcast on the time I won the crown. That was so crazy.
There's so many crazy stories, man.
That was one of the coolest role play things that I'd ever seen. What you did that day, that was really cool.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, and I
It
actually
worked.
I helped you do it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, I helped, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
So
Me too.
It's almost
sure you
like
did.
a high level wizard. People like don't really appreciate just how like cool it is until they see it.
I don't feel like we've ever had a super high level wizard at Phlarp.
Aaron's probably the highest level.
Yeah.
It was Aaron or Matt, right?
Matt wasn't even that high. He just did, he had some good abilities that really flushed well with the rest of the clan,
Mm.
Dancing sword, I think, was one of the craziest wizard abilities I had seen.
Oh, there was
Yeah.
some
Blade
wild
was
stuff.
Nuts.
Yeah, I hope that
Or
got
is
nerfed.
nuts. I don't know. I don't
Wasn't-
think it did.
What was that? Wasn't that just you gave someone a sword and they just went
Yeah, there was only a couple
Crazy
ways
They
to
were
with
deal with
immune
it.
to everything
Yeah.
except for weapon breaking
yep,
damage.
and they would just go. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that. I think.
So you had to hit him with like an annihilate.
You
or
literally had to
something.
pocket and annihilate specifically for that ability. It
Yeah.
was really annoying.
Yeah, you just give it to your best player. Like, all right, man, you just go give it to him, Tiger.
Mhm.
So yeah,
And then I don't think we're going to make it to the other two things. I had said we're going to try to go over the rules a little bit and first level abilities, but this is about good. We're hitting the 1 hour and 1 minute mark, so
perfect.
I think that sounds about good
All
if
right.
you guys want to call it. So I just want to do a shout out to our Facebook, our Patreon. We do have a Patreon that's just strictly for spectators, so if you're not getting your membership through there, and if you are interested in membership, you get basically more XP modifier. You get a higher level XP modifier for silver, gold, depending on which one you get. Those are also available on Patreon, and that's the cheapest way to get them than any other way to pay for it. So, and then if you just like our content, and you want to see more of it, please sign up for our spectator tier on our Patreon. It's only $3 a month. That's not too bad. So, and that'll help our podcast grow. So, does
Perfect.
anybody have any parting thoughts?
Just really happy to see Phlarp back at it and seeing the numbers grow so much and it being like a pretty consistent, like almost like it's a pretty consistent like 20-ish amount of people now.
Mhm.
And like the end of
Our core
the end of
members.
October. Yeah, that's pretty
Mhm.
crazy.
The
So-
leather guy, when he came up there the other day, he said there's a lot of people here, which some of
Yeah.
them were there for the birthday party, but still, there was a lot there.
Yeah,
so.
we're making some pretty good strides, I think, for just coming back after such a long hiatus. So
All right. Well, where's your intro, and we'll read it. You
So
got it?
the
Or your
outro.
rather. Yeah.
um,
I plugged Facebook and
uh,
Patreon.
So
I gotta say
you-
something in accent. Let me
You,
read.
you plugged Facebook, you plugged Patreon, so now it's just Brandon.
Yeah. So we hope you keep listening.
And we hope you keep battling in honor of our capital.
Good day to Good day to you all. Bye.
Bye!